Good evening, everyone. I'm back to you with another video after quite a long time that I've been out of the loop. Today, as you were able to tell from the title of the video, it's a turn of the HK416. This is a new gun that I actually got maybe 1 or 2 months ago. Well, I have to be more specific. The upper, I got it 1 or 2 months ago. The lower, I was able to buy it almost 1 year ago. And yeah, finally I have my HK416. I have to say it's not 100% original HK416, but for a reasonable amount of money, it's as close as you can get. What I'm going to show you today is tell you a bit about the history of not only of the HK416, because pretty much if you're watching this video, probably you already know everything about the 416 inside out. I'm going to tell you what I had to do to buy it legally here where I live in Switzerland, and then what I want to do with it, next steps, perhaps how the build is going to look like down the road. And yeah, then I look forward to bringing it to the range in the future and perhaps take some video footage of it and show it to you there as well. So, 416, as many of you know, it's one of the holy grail for any HK collector. I have other HK in my collection, hybrid G36, an MR223A3 in FD, for which I also have a video review up on YouTube. And then this one. What's a big difference about this and other guns that I have? Well, this one is actually Select Fire. It's the real deal. At least as far as the lower receiver is concerned. I was able to buy the lower receiver in importing it from Germany with the special paperwork. It's not easy, okay? It's not really cheap, but for some reason, back in, I don't know, it was already last year, a lot of HK stuff came on the market, mainly OEM parts. Among them, also lower receivers. There is even the HK416D lower receivers, like the one that had to go to the States, which were substantially more expensive, just for the fact that they have a D engraved on them. I bought a lower receiver, and I figured I would be able to maybe slap on an MR223 upper on it down the road. The fact is I eventually got the MR223, but it was an FD, so putting together a black and an FD gun looked a bit retarded. I kind of lost interest in the 416 build for definitely almost 1 year, simply because any solution to really get the build together was too expensive. Okay, the parts that you could buy in Germany essentially were pretty much all of the 416 except the bolt head and the barrel. Now the bolt head you could potentially use the one from the MR223, so nothing to report there, no stoppers. But the barrel has been quite a pain. I have been told from some sources that the MR223A3 barrel will not fit 100% without any modification to a standard 416 upper, which were actually the ones that you could buy online. Therefore, I was not really sure how to get a barrel for this thing. I tried, asking custom AR-15 manufacturers to build one. There was not a lot of interest in doing something like this. Ordering one from HK as a spare part is difficult because A, they just actually sell you almost the whole upper part, no individual parts, so just the barrel. B, they would only have the A3 by now, so also that one was not a viable solution. Until some time ago, my gun importer that actually does a lot of trade with the States said that he had an initiative going on, building uppers and full 416s. He had the barrels come from the US and also some other stuff lined up. I said, yeah, for sure, if you can light me up an upper, do that. And I thought, yeah, who knows. And actually he made it. The upper arrived, was not cheap, but also was significantly more, cheaper than, for instance, importing a 416 upper from the States. They go up on sale on Gunbroker every now and then for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Until you got the paperwork sorted out, all the middlemen's paid, and it's here in Switzerland. It's not double the price, but almost probably. So it was a bit too much for just a similar gun to what I already have in my arsenal. Long story short, the upper arrived. I was able to get a serial number that I liked. And how does it work out? Actually, the 416 kit that I have on the upper was bought, I think, in Austria. And it included everything except the barrel and the bolt head. The barrel that is mounted on this one, I was told, belongs to an MR556, so it was imported and cut in America. Like, it was imported from the States, cut to 10.4, so that it would fit. And the only thing that I don't like, as usual, it's got this retarded heavy profile like the MR223 that I already have. So this is the only regret that I have. Of course, it was the cheap solution because he also managed to buy some 416 barrels, which were substantially more expensive. And I thought, you know, since everything else was already damn expensive, I would rather spend some money elsewhere. Nevertheless, what do I think? So now I have the lower, which I got through some other channels individually. The upper, I got through my importer from the States. What do I think? Well, the gun is pretty cool. There's no denying that. I mean, it's got the 416 has got this specific appearance, especially with the quad rail handguard. And I've been looking into other solutions, for instance, Geisele or some other stuff. But there's just something about the quad rail from HK, from the 416 specifically, which makes it so unique. Okay, even the new editions like the A5 or something like this, the A7, which will come up in the future. I don't know, man. I'm not too sure. 416. If you talk 416, for me, it's intuitively what comes to my mind is 10.4 with the magwell, sort of the flat magwell, the HK steel magazine. This is what comes to my mind, okay? And I guess for you too. And with the suppressor, the sights that I've ordered, the iron sights, I guess it will look quite good. Yeah. Was it worth the money? So as with everything H&K, you are paying heavily for essentially nothing, just for the brand, okay? I guess there is other piston guns, lighter, with a good track record like Handle, that just offer you pretty much the same package for half the price or even less. You know, but at the end of the day, what do you do? I mean, you know, sitting at the bar with your friends talking about guns, nobody's gonna be interested in that Handle, even if it's half the price. But anyone is gonna be interested in a 416, especially because you see the movies in games everywhere. And actually, I mean, if you think about it, this gun came out probably 10 years ago or more. So back then, when it was out, I mean, SBR, you're talking, you know, suppressed SBRs overseas in some scenarios of war. I mean, why not? I mean, I have a Mark 18, it's good, but when you shoot it suppressed even for an afternoon, it's a mess, okay? So, I'm not saying the piston guns are better. Piston guns do their fair share of shit as well when you run them suppressed, but a little less. And I guess people were up to switching to H&K for that little less fouling. And man, this gun brought history. I mean, this is what apparently shot Bin Laden, if we stick to the official narrative. I really can't believe I have this gun, because whenever I talk to some other collectors, if you say that you have a 416, you already, you know, the tension just, you know, everything just stops and they just listen to you, okay? And then, yeah, it's a long story, and maybe the barrel is not original. Yeah, so what? It's a bit heavy. Yeah, that's not so cool. But it's a 416. And I definitely cannot deny that it was worth waiting in the end and sticking it out to the end. I was almost lost hope at some point. Lately, I've not been that much into guns, especially because I got a new car, which is quite nice. And I've been working with that a little bit more on weekends. But I just want to go to the shooting range now and try this one out. In Switzerland, it's actually kind of special, okay? So when you have a full auto gun, like this one, you can shoot it in full auto, but it's a bit weird. You need a special authorization to shoot it on a given day on a given venue, okay? So if I want to go to the range down the road on Saturday, I should ask the police, hey, can I shoot the 416 on that range on that day? and they'll issue me a permit, and then the guy at the gun range will have a look at the permit and say, yeah, dude, go ahead. So this is one reason why I don't like full auto guns that much. Just from a compliance perspective, a different ball game, and also logistically and from an admin perspective, likewise. But you know, this is a 416 and it's like a once in a lifetime gun, so I was like, who gives a shit. Moreover, in theory, I'm not quite sure, but I think if you shoot it in a way that it cannot shoot full auto, maybe with a semi-auto bull carrier from the MR223, where it just cannot shoot full auto, could be that it's a bit different. So the fun switch would effectively have no meaning, but it still looks cool. Okay, still go to the range with all your gear, which you spend so much money on and you never use it, but this once in a lifetime where you go to the range, you bring everything, take some Instagram shots. It's gonna look pretty hot. So 416, what are we talking about essentially? Okay, actually no big deal. It's like any other AR, upper and lower. Let's have a look. Lower receiver, exactly like any other AR, except that it looks cooler because it's got the flat mag wheel. You got some more stuff going on inside because it's select fire, of course. The stock is really heavy. I don't like it that much, but if you're HK, you have to stick with the cool stuff, and it's have to be original. So gives a shit. Here the upper receiver also nothing special. Let's have a look at when you remove the handguard. This handguard is heavy as fuck. Then we'll also be able to have a look at the fucking heavy barrel that this gun has. This is the barrel. This is where the magic happens. Essentially anyone will tell you, yeah, you know, piston guns are the shit. They never get dirty or whatever. Well, what happens? Like when you shoot with the traditional direct impingement guns, once you reach the gas block, essentially the gas will be directed back to the upper receiver, fouling the shit out of your gun. With the 416 and the G36 guns, let me show if I can have a look without breaking everything. Yeah. This actually is here at the front. So when the gas arrives here, it will push this little motherfucker, you know, give it a push back. The rod will go back as well as a consequence. It will move the ball carrier, which will cycle the action, push forward again, including the fucking rod, which cost a fucking fortune because it's HK. And yeah, so essentially, even if you're not really intelligent or stupid like me, you can understand that there's not a lot of gas going through the rod. Actually, zero gas going through the rod. This is what supposedly makes the 416 such an amazing gun and also so expensive, even though the same system is on a G36, which costs like zero money for government purchases, but still. So the Germans packed the G36 into the M4 design, sold it as the 416, made a shitload of money, and became famous. And this is the long story about the HK416 in just 1-2 minutes. Now, honestly, I think that the HK416, if you're talking government contract, is quite a good deal because, as usual, German stuff for like HK stuff for government purchases is not that expensive like for civilians. So why not? Okay, G36 or 416. The choice that you have if you're government from HK at this stage in 2 to 3 is what ergonomics do you want? Because if you talk G36, maybe it's a bit cheaper. It's got some fairly bad PR due to the fact that it was melting in Germany, but no one's quite sure if that's true or not. The G36 ergonomics are a bit shit compared to the AR HK416. The magazine is, you know, it's not really rock-in, so if we got a full 30 round magazine and the bolt is closed, Inserting the magazine into the G36 is still, you still have to struggle a little bit. But it's also not drop free, so essentially you got the worst parts of both worlds combined in one, which is also a big rant that I have on the G36. With this one, you have better ergonomics, you have AR ergonomics. Everything is steel, so no cheap plastic, like with the G36. And you got one of the coolest guns on the block. So when you hang out with all of your special forces colleagues at the various NATO events, you all can hang out with the same gun, which is cool, I guess. Big question now, would I buy the same gun again? Honestly, I'm not too sure. Like, it cost me really quite a fortune, even though it was not the most expensive 416 you could get. There's more expensive combination, as I said. If you want to have the lower engrave with 416D for defense, maybe the original barrel, then I'm not talking five-digit investment, but almost, okay? We're talking high 4-digit investments. Which is a bit borderline for a 223 SBR. Still, I think this was the most optimized version I could get, especially because the lower that I bought individually was a bit cheaper than I would have bought it over someone else. What do I still miss on this build? So I said I want to make something cool. I'm probably, honestly, gonna stick with the traditional iron sights that you can get. They look really 416-ish. I don't want the flip-up sights. I just want the drum sight at the back and the forward open diopter, because I just think it looks so special. And then I'm pretty much set. Suppressor, I got something from BNT already. I got a new BNT suppressor lined up, which will take some time to arrive. It's a new model. I'm gonna have it as vanilla as possible, also for another reason, because this motherfucker with this barrel is heavy as fuck. And putting more junk on it, like, I don't know, lasers, which, well, anyway, I don't have, but flashlights, fancy scopes. You know, for a retard like me who just goes to the range to make some noise, I don't know, I just want it to look cool and have something with some history in my collection. As you know, I don't just buy guns to shoot them, I like them because I have some historical background. And this is a gun that definitely brought some history. I mean, it killed some apparently important people in Afghanistan. It keeps killing people on behalf of NATO all over the world. So, have it in my arsenal? I wouldn't say no. Yeah, it's a bit retarded that shooting it in full auto takes a bit of paperwork. I don't know if I'm gonna try in the near future. Also because I almost don't have any time. Not even to do videos, as a matter of fact. What I'm also gonna get in the future, or actually potentially already next week, is the MR223F, the short version, which I also ordered last year, pretty much around this time, and it just arrived. I got a call last week that it arrived. I need to sort the paperwork out and I can pick it up. Not gonna spoil too much on that one. I'm gonna probably make a comparison on on all the MR rifles, including the 416 that I have, just to show you the sweet details. Especially if you come from the States, and as far as we speak, you only have access to the fucking MR556. I feel it's a bit sad. I feel sorry for you. I'm gonna try to make a nice video to show you the overview of pretty much the whole MR lineup that we have now, like the normal A3 plus the special French version, including the 416. Maybe we can have a look at the interiors and see internally what changes. You probably already know that, but otherwise I wouldn't know what to do. What I would like to do the most is have some shooting footage, but that's the biggest headache, because between my job, family, and everything else, I literally have no time. And when I go, I don't take the camera, I just have fun and have a beer. But yeah, if they really want to have, perhaps drop me a message in the comments. If I had to shoot one gun, what would it be among all the ones that I have? And maybe I will just go and take the camera and do, I don't know, half an hour of shooting, take 10 minutes footage, perhaps go into the details. If you're interested, if you don't give a shit, yeah, I can understand this. Alright, then thank you very much for watching. I hope it was not too boring. And looking forward to show you the new gun, the French version, when I get it. Until then, stay safe and have a nice evening.